Hopefully at this point you understand what it means to flip the classroom, and you can clearly see the benefits associated with flipping. This lesson is designed to help you get ready to flip your own classroom. Remember, you don't need to flip your entire class at once. You can begin by flipping a single lesson, or maybe even a unit. Regardless of your goals, the concepts shared with you in this lesson will hold true. Throughout all of my research, there were some big ideas that could be found in all of the resources I used. I turned the most important into an acronym to help you remember some key points. CPR for you. C stands for chunkability, and it is a bit more complicated than the remaining letters, so I will cover this on the next slide. P represents pausability. The lives of our students are extremely busy, so they need to be able to pause a lesson and come back to it at a later time. They can't do this if you don't follow the suggestions we will talk about regarding chunkability. R is for repeatability. Repeatability is similar to pausability. Every learner will go through a lesson at his or her own pace. Some will need to pause, rewind, and replay the videos, while others will watch them straight through or even skip ahead. The more closely you follow the chunkability suggestions and guidelines, the easier it is for students to repeat lessons as necessary for their ability and pace. Research indicates that the longer a video is, the less likely students are to watch it. U, or understandability, doesn't apply so much to the videos, but more so to the logistics of the lesson itself. Students need to be able to understand what to do, where to go, when to do something, and what they are responsible for bringing back to class or submitting electronically ahead of time. Make sure you are clear in your communication. Chunkability helps you to design your lessons. Essentially, you look at your entire curriculum and break it up into 10 to 25 main topics, depending upon whether it is a semester or year-long class. Those topics are often referred to as modules in the online learning world. Each module is then divided into 5 to 7 outcomes or competencies, and each competency or outcome is then further supported by 5 to 9 main points known as chunks. Lessons are created around each chunk, and it is best to present information in 5 to 9 minutes of passive learning, followed up by some type of active, engaged learning opportunity. When trying to determine whether something should become an online learning activity or an in-class activity, consider whether it is a form of direct instruction or integrative learning. Basically, any transference of information can be done outside the classroom. Integrative learning is best left for in-class activities. If you look at Bloom's taxonomy, the lower 2 levels is where you want to place your emphasis for videos and transference of information. It is the remainder of the pyramid that we want to leverage in the class so students can make more use of practicing and applying what they are learning. Getting organized is key. Being able to update your course in the future relies on that organization. If you're like me, your files and folders aren't always the most organized. Finding desired files can sometimes be a challenge. Therefore, you want to make sure that you prepare yourself ahead of time and create a filing system and naming scheme that will allow you to find your files quickly. Resources I have read suggested using the modules to base your naming scheme off of. Remember to refrain from putting any type of information that would need to be edited in your content, such as textbooks, pages, etc. When you create your content, make sure that you create it in very short segments. The magic number is 7 to 9 minutes. You want to focus on one concept at a time. You want to do this for several reasons. As teachers, we know that our curriculum is constantly changing. If something in your curriculum needs to be removed, it can easily be deleted and replaced with the new curriculum requirements. If something is added to the curriculum, you can also put that new component in anywhere you want to without having to re-edit your videos. When creating an online class, a learning guide helps to direct students throughout the course. Within a flipped class, a learning guide can direct a student throughout a lesson. They help students know what to do, when to do things, how to do things, when and where to turn in assignments, etc. The following slides show suggested elements to include within a learning guide. Again, remember, In order to keep courses easy to update, this is the only location where you would want to embed references to textbook titles, chapters, page numbers, etc., because then you will only have to edit this one resource rather than all of your other content as well. The following slide shows suggested elements of a learning guide. You do not need to incorporate every single element into your learning guide. However, it is nice to provide as much guidance and direction for your students as possible. Remember, if you yourself need to pause this video to jot down these notes, please go ahead and do so. Hopefully you're eager to begin creating flipped lessons for your classes. Now it's time to prioritize what to do first. Obviously, this is all going to take time, and there's only one of you. So say you want to flip your entire course. I know that that's a big goal, but begin by thinking of your curriculum and say it's going to take 120 videos to do that. You obviously can't create 120 videos in one shot. So what you want to do is select the most difficult concepts for the entire course and create the videos for those concepts first. And then think of your class as a triangle and map out your course one layer at a time. Your most difficult concepts are the musts. I must have these videos created, and get those created for the year. Then work on creating the next most difficult concepts, and then finally the concepts that students could live without. The rationale behind this is that the most difficult concepts are the concepts that students are going to need to access repeatedly. They are the videos that the students will pause, rewind, and replay in order to gain the understanding that they cannot access in the class while you are lecturing. Earlier, we mentioned creating a filing system that was built off of a naming scheme. Using a combination of our topics or elements within the learning guide and that module number will help to keep us organized. If we establish a filing system before we create our files, it will make putting those files into the filing system easier. And this is going to affect everything that you create in your modules. Not everything is necessarily going to go into a video, but it will help you to find it later. In order to establish a filing system for your course, create a course folder. Within that course folder, create subfolders within each module. Module 1, Module 2, etc. Notice how I've added a 0 before the 1 and the 2. You want to do that before every number below 10 so that they will sort out alphanumerically and appear in order within your files. Subfolders will then need to be created within each module folder and named accordingly for the various components that you create. Here are some examples for you to take a look at, and I think that's pretty self-explanatory. As you create additional topics within your modules, all you have to simply do is change the number at the end of the module. If you have more than one presentation, you can name the presentation, or you can have it Presentation 1, Module 1, Presentation 2, Module 2. However you present them would make sense. I hope you feel ready and confident to begin flipping your own classroom. The next series of lessons will show you how to use video editing software to create your own videos.